this and so forth. So they're going to be doing this. It's just a push button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anytime it gets over 10, all you do is hit save and return. It's going to pop up. Same thing with total dissolved solids. Same idea. Culligan water, drinking water. The ones down here, so these are all ones that are going to be interactive. The tests down here, demonstrations. This just tells you how to do it, right? And there's no shame in explaining to your customer that you're new. Actually, they're going to be more generous to you. They're probably going to buy because you're new. They're going, oh man, I want to be his first sale and so forth. So this is just a way to how to perform the demo. If you need to do a quick check before you go into the house, right? The light test demo, plug it in, drop it in. It's pretty easy. All right, so that's your tests. That's going to be pretty easy to do, self-explanatory. Now we're going to get into a couple things. I need to do one thing. If this is not, if this is grayed out right here, you can just do a refresh and it should pop right back up to products. So this is back-end stuff. Before you present, you're going to look and see what is going to be offered. Right now it's going to be offered a Smart RO, a Smart HE, 1-inch valve, 10-inch diameter, an Aqua Central non-backwashing filter, 1-inch valve, 10-inch diameter. That is your default, right? So if you hit reveal, that's what's coming up every time. So if you're already there, that's great. If you're going to go up, then there's going to be price differences. So the biggest complaint we've had with this tool is not knowing what we're going into ahead of time. So they've done a couple of things that I will show you. On your three-way close, everyone knows what the three-way close is, right? What are your three options?
Right.
Do
Doing nothing.
Rental and purchase.
Yes. Or you can just say, cost of doing nothing, we own the solution and take care of every need that you have, all your filter changes and so forth, and your salt, or you own the solution. The great thing about you owning the solution is that payment goes away, but you still have lifelong water for as long as that equipment, right? So get that in your repertoire. The same idea is, what's it say? 0. That's the right answer. Anything like that you can say on a regular basis, get that into your repertoire, okay? So this is when I was talking about building your bank, this is where your bank is right here. All right, that's your total monthly waste. $56 down here, $33 for drinking water, $80 for your chemical spend. This is your total monthly waste. We put a big number down here so they understand that they're going to continue to pay that if they do something. And they look at that big number and go, ooh, once I show you how much it is to buy it, they're pretty close, right? So, how many people rent Smart HEs here?
None.
None. Unfortunately, the way this is set up is you're going to have a rental op as a Smart HE. So don't ever hit the medium reveal. Some people have them switch. Some have the purchase in the middle and whatever. You can switch that around. But you hit the reveal here for your monthly total. Right? Again, this is going to be a Smart HE 10-inch, Smart or a DFC 10-inch, and a Smart RO.
So that has all three in the package already?
Correct. Why do we do
I
that?
didn't know. Yeah, okay.
Reason we do that, is it harder to add money or take away money?
True that.
It's
What happens
easier.
to the 145
easier to take
payment based upon the 3 that you're selling? I'm just curious on what's the monthly payment up there? Is that?
It's based off of a payment factor.
So that is kind of accurate then?
We were also kind of.
Oh, I didn't know, so I wasn't like using that because I didn't know.
So I will tell you this. I'm on this committee, and I've been part of this since day one. I tell my guys at this point in time, if you hop away from the three-way close, it doesn't hurt my feelings. I think it's still a little bit clunky. And when I say jump away from the three-way close, it's good to have the one option because it's already totaled up for you. You don't have to do the math. And then you can go into something like this,
Kind of gives you a ballpark.
right? You can jump into a paper,
Oh, I like that.
right? So you can do your current costs in there, and then you can do your three-way close.
What's better? How come we don't have that?
I don't know, because I didn't make one for you.
Oh, man. You want us in that part?
You're in Ontario, right?
Yeah.
Brenda's got something similar. All the sales managers have something similar with a three-way close. So we own we own it. They do nothing. So they
Brenda.
Yeah.
I like the app though, honestly. I want to live it.
So for those of you who are like I love the app, and eventually the three-way closes are going to become really, really smooth, and I'm excited about it. And there's ways to change it. One thing that we have done that makes it a little bit easier is you can go back and unreveal things, right? So this reset button, if you go, ooh, that's not the right price, you want to see what it is, you go reset, and then you can change it, right? So if you accidentally hit that, you go, ooh, I don't want to. We're not going to rent something for $233.
Can you really quick just show how to adjust it? Because I know you can.
Yep.
Yes, you can. Even on the rentals always show higher because they want you to purchase.
So to change things around, you go here, you hit add-ons, right? So if you want to downsize to a 9-inch tank, upsize to a 12, 14, or 1.25, you just click on that, it will add it. For your filters, if you want to take it from a standard carbon to color D, you go up or down.
So those collars, that's another thing.
So the difference between collars, one's going to take care of chlorine and the other one's going to take care of chlorine and chloramines. So depending on what your dealership deals with, I mean, sometimes it's better to sell them both because it takes care of them both, and with the changing.
Which one's the one with both?
The D, I think the D is both, right? So yeah, the D is both. It's more expensive, and again, with the changing amount of water, you don't know. I mean, you may test it right now, and they have no chlorine and no chloramines. It could change. So it's just a belt and suspenders kind of thing. So that's how you change it, and going up and down. And you see it change the dollar amount.
On the rental, it's just standard. They have no pricing because
So,
you're picking and choosing.
Yeah, so the way you have to do your rental is, the only way you can do your rental is you have to change this from Smart HE down to a select.
You can also just make the actual price adjustment, right?
Yeah, you also can drop the price too.
Kind of finagle that a little bit that way.
So if you know how much the difference is, you can do a solution adjustment and just put in the dollar amount. So if you know it's $500 difference, if you do indoor outdoor, you can just do $500.
Tip for this, you have to input the cents, even at 0, 0. Like if you just type minus 100, it won't save.
Correct.
You have to, it took me so long to figure that out. I don't know why.
So that's where we're at with the three-way close. Again, for those of you who get it and understand it, I know Covina does a really good job of doing it. Justin talks to me all the time. Hey, how do I do this? And I let him know. So you guys have my number now, or I'll give you my number. You can call me directly if you need to.
Appreciate that.
Show Justin how to make slides. Go, hey, this is what I learned, man. It's really easy. So a couple other things on this. Again, if you need to jump out of here, it doesn't hurt my feelings. One other thing that's really cool, a lot better than our last, the app, is the resource library. If anybody has been here for a long period of time, the resource library was a disaster because everything is called Aquacentral, right? And it was done alphabetically, and you had to go. So search by name. If I want to find something on PFAS, I just type in PFAS. Here's a video, taking time, all kinds of stuff. If I want to do ClearLink, I don't know. Here's that ClearLink Pro overview video. You can watch that.
Does that show installation at all in there? Even just like a brief overview of it?
That is in your manual.
Yeah, there should be. This is actually a great, what do you call it? A stopgap when you're packing up your kit.
When you get a Culligan water softener, you'll enjoy convenient professional installation from a trained Culligan technician. When your technician arrives,
You're packing up
they'll
your
have
kit.
all the necessary tools and equipment.
Right? Talks
They'll
about
also take
gives them a
steps to
reminder that
ensure
they got to
your
move all
home's
their
kept
shit.
clean.
True.
In your initial consultation, your local
What's
water
that?
specialist will have helped you
Oh,
determine where your system should go. Typically, this is in a garage, utility room, basement, or outdoors. Installation usually takes 2 to 4 hours, but timing can vary depending on the equipment being installed, the age of your plumbing, and other factors. The amount of space required depends on the softener's size. You'll likely need about 9 square feet, though it could be less. It's also necessary to have access to your water pipes, a drain, and an electrical outlet. On installation day, make sure the space you selected is cleared and clean. Other than that, there's nothing
That's
you
your
need to do to
responsibility as
prepare.
salespeople to explain that
If
to
you
the
have an
customer.
old water softener,
Don't put your
we'll remove it
technicians in a
first
weird
and
position
can often dispose of it for you.
of asking them to
Your
move
new
it,
softener
right?
will typically have two tanks.
Move their stuff.
The brine tank holds the salt.
We do remove though, right?
We
The
do.
main tank is filled with the resin beads that remove hardness from your water.
But if you got technicians
Salt
that
from the brine tank
want to walk
keeps
away
the
from a
resin
job,
beads clean
that's
and
one thing
effective.
that they'll do.
Here's how installation works. First, the water in your house will be turned off. Then your technician will connect the softener to your plumbing so that all the water coming into your home flows through the softener first. To do this, your technician may need to add additional piping to route the water supply as needed.
No.
This can involve cutting your home's
So again, this
water
is
lines,
a 3-minute
which is just
video.
one
It's a
reason why
great
it's a good idea to
stopgap
have
while
your
you're
softener
picking up your
installed
pack. So
by
you
a
don't need to do
trained
all this.
professional.
But all this stuff is in your resource library. If any filter comes up, you know, I know there's a lot of things about sulfur and iron and this and that. You can type in just the word that you're concerned about, and it'll pop up. Also, too, every time you log into the HSX, any new updates will show up on your home screen. It's just good to know because there's always stuff being added. There's always slides being added. There's always new videos and so forth. So that's always good. How many? You all have access to Seaport, correct? Okay.
No,
So,
we'll talk. Do we need to talk to Justin about that, or is that something you guys?
yeah, talk to Justin about that. You all need access, at least Culligan U.
We have Culligan U. Yeah.
Okay, Culligan U is great. You should be able to get a bunch of stuff in there, but Seaport has the hard water section, troubled water.
And it sounds like that's where we get the manuals and stuff from, right?
You can do that. Let me show you one thing too. So, in case you didn't know, we do not print. We used to print manuals and give them to people, right? And we can say, you know, we're trying to be eco-conscious. We're trying to make everything is available online. There should be a QR code, in theory, on the inside of all their equipment. They can scan it and pull it up in a PDF. You got old people that don't know how to do that. You can send them stuff through HSX. There's also
Culligan.com.
or culligan.com. I have all my guys have this on their bookmarks that has every one of the
Oh, here we go.
anything and everything, and you just click on it. Like if someone has an old gold water softener, you say okay, you download it, you send it to them.
It's a real side note on that. When you get to Seaport, right, download or have on your tablet as many of the, obviously your current, but if you have a medalist or gold. So again, if you're doing an inspection check, now I have Arsenal, now I have resources. I'm glad it's going into Seaport.
Yeah, I've literally never even seen it. Today.
Yeah, Culligan U
Yeah, yeah.
more than likely has Seaport.
So everyone should have access to Culligan U, which is great. If you need a list, I have a list of everything that's in the learning profile.
Uh-huh.
So you can go through and go, ooh, I want to see that. I've got all that for you guys if you want it. So technical service is where you're gonna find. Actually, where is it?
When you said Tolentino's body?
Oh, I see why you're saying Culligan U. We just have a link that takes us straight to the university page.
Okay.
So we don't go through Seaport.
So analytical lab is a great tab to have. When you click on knowledge bank, this is where they're gonna have all kinds of videos to look at. Truth About Water is a great thing to read through. This is a huge resource for you. You're gonna learn more. You can learn more about this than you actually want to learn. So it's great. Trying to think if there's anything else.
save a resource?
Household, we go to household sales or sales and marketing. HS sales tools.
What do you want?
Just right here.
Also, sorry, side note before I forget, the demo for the Culligan Connect, the
Yeah,
demo
let me see if I
login.
got that. Let me play with that from my side.
Thank you.
Right. Go to that knowledge bank, up at the top. If you scroll up on here, the seven step selling videos is good. The water test videos is good. Everything on here. You want to talk about financing, the Culligan apps, all of that is right there.
That's an HH?
Yes, that's in household sales right there.
These are great to look at. We record them. There was one today. You guys probably missed it, but there was one at 7 and one at 11. Just talked about specifically about nitrates and what we do to take care of nitrates.
If you
think there's an email for
save
that one.
one of these, do you know where it saves to?
It should save to your screen, your downloads on the iPad. So yeah, if you don't have access to this, it should be the same login and password as your culligan U.
So maybe we can get in there, we
Yeah.
just haven't.
Yep. It's good too.
Is it just a regular website, seaport.culligan.com?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. So it's going to have anything that we sell, everything that we sell. So if you go in this way, it's going to have a ION and an ON. So one's an install
Yes.
diagram or install packet, and the other one's an owner's manual.
Right,
So
ONG and then, iOS.
yeah, ION.
This IOM is your maintenance manual and
Yeah.
your ONG is your owner's guide.
Yeah.
Got it.
But if you just download this one product manual deal, which is just culligan.com support product information. And if you want, I can send this to you. It just has all the owner's manuals. See, these are all just owner's guides. You don't have to worry about the maintenance for the install.
So guys, make sure you got my email address. I need you to email me your cell phone number. Okay, before you leave out here today. And then I will be emailing you guys some dates. I will also email you your stat performance sheet. And that's literally for you. But like I said, at the end of those 90 days, I want to know what your appointment average is, what your closing percentage is, and what your unit turnover is. Okay? And then I'll set up a Zoom call for all of us to get together and do a recap.
Okay, sweet.
I would also suggest you have your an EWG on your iPad as well that you can just put in zip codes. As Vic said, I would have a folder on your iPad for all, have a select manual on there, an HE manual on there, some old manuals on there just for quick reference. Because the more organized you are, the quicker you are about, and again, it's all practice, just like everything else. The quicker you are about getting to stuff, the more we exude the professionalism that we want to. So. Cool. And as a sales manager, I am highly requesting you guys to be diligent in your BAM. We didn't really talk about that a whole lot here, but when you go to an appointment, you have a couple of options. You have did not sale or transaction, or for us it's 3. Pending proposal, did not sale or transaction. That's it. It's not, nothing else. So the reason we do that, and just so you guys know, when we close a lead or close an appointment, BAM automatically starts doing what's called a trickle email campaign, and it re-engages them, right? So you're going to be engaging them, they're going to be engaged. We're trying to get those people re-engaged. Hey, it's kind of like, did you forget this in your cart kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to close these appointments, and I know salespeople like to hoard everything and have all these things open, and I got this, I got that. Be realistic.
We just had that conversation.
Yeah, just be realistic and say, you know what, this is like a 50% chance of closing. I'm just gonna close it, and I'm gonna touch base with them, every couple of months just to make sure they're okay. But BAM's also gonna be hitting them too. So that's the reason why we close all these leads.
Yeah, you can reopen them. So
Yeah.
if you close, if you
Mhm.
close, it makes no difference really, just keeping your own database somewhere who you wanna search back with.
Yep.
When I also learned you can set that callback reminder too, which is what changed I kept them just to keep them in mind, but there's that callback feature that
Yeah,
you
that's
can
what-
close them out and you'll still get notified.
Yeah, so this is what these are, follow-up reminders.
Mm-hmm.
So these are sales guys saying, hey, I'm gonna go back in a week and do the one-drop test. I'm gonna go back and do an inspect and check on this. I'm gonna go back. So this is a way to keep track of everything.
Mm-hmm.
While we're on it, any questions about BAM that I can answer while we're here? Ask your sales managers if you have a profile set up in there, because when we set an appointment,
The only question I had about BAM was they won't let you send a custom email, it only has a pre-selected email.
correct.
You can do a custom email.
Well, not like.
You can't do a form email.
Yeah, just a normal pre-selected.
So you can set up a form email, but you can't really adjust it. So
You mean set up on your personal email?
No, well,
Wait, hold on. You mean like you can't type your own email?
yes, you can.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You can type your
Is
own
that what
email,
mean?
but you can't send a form.
Oh, like an attachment with it.
You can.
Can you just,
That's pretty far in the weeds, but let me show you a couple things real quick. So if I'm setting up an appointment, just so you know, so right now, this is just going to go to the customer, and this will be sent to the salesperson, right? So if you're setting up your own self-gen, you don't need to click that because you don't need to identify, alert yourself. But as a sales manager, I'm going to click those to make sure that you get those. If you're not getting an email and a text message for your leads, talk to your sales manager. Get that fixed because that's important, right? We give customers basically a 3-hour window. So what time is it now? 1. So it's 12:30. So 3:30. I could be assigning somebody an appointment. So always be checking stuff. As far as emails go, I mean we can go into it a little bit. Let me see if I can find me.
There's 2 things I need to cover through the call. The one thing I want to talk to you guys about is PE and brain restriction, real quick. Some of you guys have the brain restriction locations. There's always, obviously, PE is important to understand how many PEs go into a home. You definitely need to know how many people's in that house. You need to size it so that you know how many deliveries are going to that house. Okay, that's very important. Some people extremely still want soft water, right? So you definitely need to know the equation on how many tanks and how frequently that person needs to go to, okay? If a customer has never had soft water before and is in an brine restricted area, always put that no salt in the back of your head, that's possible, okay? When we're doing a test on a brine restricted area, how many tests do we still do? All of them, which is how many?
Minimum 3.
Minimum of 3. Minimum of 3. So like Fillmore, Santa Paula, Santa Ana, Santa Clarita, I mean, they still have chlorine, okay? They still have hardness, they still have a TDS. Always do not be afraid to sell an RO based on the test. So when they're showing that TDS, offer them a payment solution because you know they're gonna be in payments on PE, okay? Just as much as those payments though, instead of renting an RO, you can at least own an RO and I can finance that and give you a lower price, okay? So it is important that you guys are aware of the opportunities you have in brine restricted areas. Did I miss anything on that?
And brine restricted area is a great place to also sell salt free.
Yeah.
Great spot. I'm gonna show you some quick things about email. Should we go over sizing and capacity and all that?
I think we,
Or is that,
I think the sizing and capacity, how many people know about sizing and capacity? Be honest.
Like of the individual tanks.
Yeah.
do we know how much
16 to 18.
a cube of resin will take care of?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I calculated.
Did you get your answer? Did you see what he just did to send an individual email?
So I'll do this real quick. There's 2 different ways to do an email. One, you click on their email. You can type in this. So this is Nicholas's. I'm just using an example. You type in your
Pay
subject.
attention to this. This is important. 1 second. I want Kevin to see this. Both of you guys, but.
All right, to send an email that you type your own, you type in the subject, you type in the message, and it's automatically going to put your name on here, whoever's associated with that. If you want to send another type of email, these are your
Pre-generated.
generated emails. So customer goes, hey man, I forgot how to connect my smart HE. You can take a look at it, see what it looks like. Oh, I need to. Oops. It'll show you what you're sending. It shows them how to, if it's set up with BAM or your area, it'll send that over to them so they can do it. So those are just in the can emails that you cannot change, you can't do anything with. They are what they are.
But normal questions you're gonna get off the pre-draft, it makes it easy for you.
Yep, exactly. And if you're doing it through this way, it's going to say click to email on your deal, so you don't have to say that you did that. And then when you're on your phone and you do click to call, it's going to say click to call. So again, you don't need to put in your activity, I called this person. It's
And
going
the
to say click to
beauty of
call.
that is, like Tim is saying, it'll be in your activities. If you're supposed to make a call and that's what the customer asked for, not an appointment, it's there, we know you did it. If you're out sick for a week, we have your email trail, we have a paper trail. So always do your interactions through your CRM system, that way everybody can keep up.
Yep. Yep. Alright.
I didn't even know about those email templates, actually. I've just been custom typing out my own.
And it's fine. The email templates are really for your sales managers. So we'll do a Black Friday deal that we just send everybody out. It's really easy to do. But you can ask your sales managers, hey, I feel like I send this email out to everybody. You just can't customize it at all.
Yeah, we can make it a template. So
Yes.
if you have a great idea that somebody's asked
Well, I
for,
used to do email marketing, so I would love to have templates. if
yeah,
I could make 'em.
just any templates you need, send them to your manager, and we can contact our BAM rep, turn it into a template.
That's dope.
Yep.
That's dope.
And in BAM, it has a lead log, so it tells you everything that happens. So like this lead came in, Carlos Mendoza didn't know where it went, so he sent it to me, like he sends all of them. I wrote to my lead catcher, call this person, see if they're in our territory. If not, send it to San Diego. So this is where everything is. So if there's click to call or anything like that, or notes, so you can see what your manager is talking to you about.
So we can send emails
And
to our
again,
manager.
guys, everybody just, again, a lot of the stuff we've covered is in your book. So again, this is great for you to take home, explore it, look inside of it. Talks about the actual demonstration, how to do it. I was looking in here because I know it's got something about sizing in here
Yeah, it
as
does.
well.
About the measurements.
Yep,
how it
yep.
pertains.
So, but I wanna go over it, I'm gonna go over it real quick on a couple of things.
I see that.
Oh, let me take a picture of that.
Is this our new
Is
Culligan
that the one you're
Bible?
gonna put up on the wall or something?
Yeah, this is your demo mode right there. We'll take it off, put it up on the wall, but,
Okay.
Take a picture of it.
that's what it looks like right there as you're doing it. It shows you,
Okay.
the Culligan Connect. It's a demo, so you can play with the Culligan
Got it.
Connect, you can't break it.
Nice.
And if you wanna see what the login for the notifications, what kind of notifications it gives to the customer, it's Culligan Notifications 2024, no password. So you just go in there.
It just
Is that
sends you
what
some
you want?
notifications?
No, it's just gonna show you what it's gonna tell the customer.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you wanna say, hey, if something's happening, this is what you're gonna see.
Gotcha, okay. Yeah, that's huge, actually.
Yeah, I mean, this,
Thank you, Barry.
when you sell them something, well, this is like a demo right there.
So guys, this differentiates us from everybody else, right? Everyone else comes in and goes, you either need a small, medium, or large deal. They're gonna look at the size of the house and they're gonna go, oh, you need our extra large deal. This is a differentiator.
Yeah, so one of the things that you will see, again, this is in your book as well, but a 1 cube resin is 30,000 grains of capacity. In halves, like here, you see the 1.5, you're adding 15,000 grains, so that's why you see 45,000. 2 times 30 is your 60 grain. 3 cubes is 90,000 grains of capacity, okay? When you start talking about iron, okay, you have to add some of your hardness to compensate for your iron when it is applicable. And I'm gonna show you that equation, even though you typically would not be having this conversation with your customer. The service tech better know,
Yeah.
okay? But you is all you're telling your customer is you have 1 part per million of iron, you still can just use your softener, and that guy's gonna know. But for 1 part per million of iron, I've got to add 4 grains of hardness. Am I right?
Yeah, and, yes, that's right, but it's for the clear iron, right?
Right, for
It's
clear.
not for your red. it's
Ferric
for the
iron
clear
is-
side. If you have the red iron, we have to go a different,
Gotta go complete-
different
yeah,
route, totally
yeah,
different route,
yeah.
because it will crap up the
Right,
resin.
right.
If you don't, okay?
That's the way they
Just to know that, okay?
You want
The
Right.
clear iron, you can do with the softener clear.
Why is this important?
It's a set.
I'm gonna tell you a clear example of why this is important. I got a rep years ago. He was the baddest, coolest, top person ever to sell the 8-inch select. An 8-inch select. This dude wrote all of them, 8-inch, 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 8-inch. Now, as much as I'd like to say that's a good thing, it is not even close to a good thing, okay? 8-inch is our bottom down softener. It's not even a full cube of resin. All right, it's 3/4. But we had a salesperson that was an order taker. He was not a salesperson. He did not size these pieces of equipment up to their customers. So we used to have calls come in, because I got a person with an 8-inch select with a family of 5 or a family of 6, and this thing is running every day and they still can't keep up with it. Why? It's because we did not size it up right. When we're asking from the needs analysis, our questions, and you just met that one person, you cannot leave that house and not know the size of family. Okay? But yet there's a lot of times I'll look at an order and I don't see how many people is in the home. It's blank. Come on, Ryan. Am I right? You gotta know how many people is in the home. Does it matter how many bathrooms is in the house?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Because of the water.
Because of the usage.
That's the water, those are flushes from the tank.
And does
If
it,
you
everybody
put it in
agree
the
with
same
that?
bathroom, you get a lot of water that they're using, the pressure.
Yeah. What do you think? Is everybody comfortable with that?
I think there's more
So-
to it.
So it could be. All right. Oh. So, because that is a question that a lot of people ask, is that why does it matter about a bathroom? All right, if 2 people was in a home on a 4-bathroom house, 2 people,
Does it affect the distribution or the pressure, how many bathrooms it has to?
okay, does it?
That's a
Absolutely.
good question, yeah.
Yeah, but for just general standard for setting, we look at 50 gallons a person, just 50 gallons a person. That gives us that standard. Now, then the questions come when we start to do settings and service, is, hey, how often do your children come home from college? You have college kids, you have visitors that come in constantly. So then we might move that gallon per minute, per day into a backup so that we're actually running it more often and stuff like that. Now, service guys are gonna do that. But to find out what sizing, you wanna know what the people in the house do, right? So if they have 4 people that are gonna be there 4 days a week, we wanna use 4 people, that's 300 gallons, right? If they're only gonna have 2 and occasionally have 1 or 2 people, you just tell them, hey, it's may regen on capacity if you load your house up.
But here's the reason I'm saying the 3 bathrooms. Harry is right. If I wanna know how many gallons per person per day, it doesn't matter to me how many bathrooms you're using. I'm finding out how many gallons is going through the house. That part doesn't matter. It does not matter. 2 people is 2 people. If you live there, I'm gonna say it's 100 to 150 gallons per person per day. I don't care if it's 1 bathroom or 8 bathrooms. It's 2 people, okay? But it is significant when there's 3 bathrooms. Because if it's now 4 people or 5 people, okay, it's still 50 to 75 gallons per person per day. The volume that's being used is not the reason for this. It's the flow. Because if I still have 6 people using the bathroom and it's 1 bathroom, guess what? Only 1 person's using that bathroom unless there's some freaky stuff going on. Okay? But there's only 1 person using that bathroom. But if I have 4 bathrooms and all 4 of them is using it, now where's your flow? You see? So that's the difference, especially on a well water application. So if all of a sudden, my cold water main, that's the vein, right? And that water can bring in, let's just say 7.5 gallons per minute through your house. Well, that 7 gallons is all it's able to bring into the house. If my laundry is on, I got my dishwasher on, and I'm taking a shower. All at the same time.
Pressure dropping.
pressure is dropping, the flow of where that's going is gonna be predicated, and usually, you know, the one who gets to it first gets the best pressure. Doesn't that make sense? If I'm going all the way and my bathroom is here, but other people are using the water, by the time it gets to my master bathroom, if I'm the last part of that vein, you know? So the 3-bathroom is, I just wanted to illustrate it, is for that reason. Your volume makes no difference. Remember I said earlier about you need to have a reserve though, right? So I want to show you why sizing on that is important. And that's why, again, I sell aqua sensors like mad. Because everybody else has got to get this right. So, Chase,
Yes, sir.
you know what I need from you? Come
Do
on.
it.
You're my go-to, it's been that way for the last 2 days. All right. So, 1 cube. How many grains? We just talked about
30,000.
30,000. When I tested the water today, how many grains per gallon is right here in this city?
10.
Was it 10? Well, let's go with 10.
I think it was 10.
10 grains per gallon. So I divide the capacity divided by the hardness gives me how many gallons I have, which is what?
3,000.
I have 3,000 gallons of capacity before I have to rejet. Did you guys get that? I divide the capacity of the resin divided by the hardness gives me my gallons. So when I've reached that gallon at 1 in the morning or wherever my tech set it at, it's gotta clean that resin so that it can go back to the 30,000. However, if I do not set a day's reserve, if that 3,000 trips at again 8 in the morning, I have now raw water going through the whole day because that customer's still gonna use it. So in our industry, we have a day's reserve on metered units, okay? Every dealership is different on how they set this, okay? You got some people who use a percentage. Some people will actually say how many people is in the home, okay? If it was how many people and this was a family of 4, we get heavy because like I said, I never want my customer to say they ran out of soft water. Okay? So even though it might be at 75 gallons per person per day, I may make their day's reserve $100 per person per day. So 4 times 100 is what? 400. So this 400 gallons is my day's reserve. So now I am setting that softener to trip every 2,600 gallons. Does everybody understand what I just did?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay? So 30,000 is your grains capacity. I divided it by the hardness, came down to 3,000 gallons. There's 4 people in the house. 100 per gallon, so I'm reserving 100 gallons of soft water. So I have to make this trip at 2,600 gallons. So that they have 400. Does that mean they're gonna use all 400? No. The purpose of that 400 is to make sure they're guaranteed soft water. That's it.
And you remember yesterday I mentioned the predict mode. It predicts how much water is being used. So if they check that predict mode, it comes back every day and looks how many gallons we got left here. And by 7 days, they use the last 7 to 10 days.
Yep.
It takes an average of what's been used, right? So then it says, okay, I can get another day out of this. So it's gonna go in. So it rolls out to use as much of your capacity that you have on your salt dosage set. It's using as much as it can do to minimize using extra salt. Because this is a downflow unit, right?
Yes.
Upload proportional is only gonna say, well, I got 3/4 of the bed good to go. I'm only gonna actually use 1/4 of the salt. to get that bed back to normal.
Back to normal, back to service.
So on a downflow unit, that predict is a really cool option to save money, because it's gonna use that salt anyway.
That's only on an HE.
Right,
And-
HE, I'm sorry.
and Select.
Right?
Or just.
HE or a
This is the
HE.
demo mode.
Yeah.
So,
About the same.
it's important that we understand sizing does play a big part.
look at it. I think it says you have to.
So, Chase, now that customer says, well, how much salt am I gonna need? Well, I can find out for you. So now I take that 2,600 and I divide that by 500, and that's gonna give me how many days I got with this.
5 days.
So I got 5 days. So approximately every 5 days, this is gonna reach in at 1 o'clock. You should be water specialists, that if your customers have questions about sizing, you can give them everything to this point. A typical on a standard softener, okay? I'm only talking about standards here now, right? A standard 1 cube regen uses 10 pounds of salt per regen. Okay? So how many pounds is in a bag?
40.
So how many regens do I have in the bag? 4, right? So what I do is I take this 10 pounds, okay, so if this is 5 days times 4, that means 20 days I have per bag.
Real quick question, Vic, just going backwards, where did you get that 500 from to get 5 days? Where did 500 come from?
2,600 gallons divided by the.
Yeah, 2,600 divided by,
5 days.
2,600 divided by 300. What did you do?
No, it wasn't that. It was you were talking about how many. Man, you.
I think it was 2,600 divided by the 500. I think is what.
Yeah,
Right.
so you have to do, not 500, you gotta do 2,500 divided by,
2,600 divided.
actually, if we're gonna use 75 per day, then it would be 300, because they're doing 75 gallons per person per day.
Oh, okay. So that 500. that we
So I'm
originally
taking
did.
2,600 divided by their daily use.
Got it. That's what.
So
that
maybe
was.
that's, so what's 2,600
That's off.
divided by 300?
That's all.
8.6.
Okay, so I always round it up to 9. If it's over 0.5, I'll take it to 9.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is 9. Okay,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
so again, the 400 is the day's capacity. I'm taking this though, divided by their daily use.
That answer.
400, I added a little more because I wanted to make sure there was enough. Okay, so I didn't do 300, I added an extra 100 for the day's reserve. Here's what a lot of companies do. A lot of companies will take 20% of the capacity as their day's reserve. So they would take that 3,000 and now instead of 600 gallons, they're doing 600 gallons of 4 days.
And a lot of our competitors will go immediate, so as soon as it hits its limit, it goes into regeneration. It doesn't matter if it's at 9 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't really matter. Where we go, we set our own, so you can ask the customer, or the service tech will ask the customer, what's the best time for you? I mean, there are people that get off at midnight, right, and they work at midnight. Well, I get off and I take my showers at midnight. I'd like to have my soft water, so we might set that at a different time for him, right?
Okay,
How long does the
so
regeneration period take though?
An hour,
An hour, okay.
approximately.
approximately.
68, 69 minutes, right?
How much salt does a downflow take?
And you're setting that on capacity, right? And there's a chart in the book that we set it off of. 10 pounds of salt per regen may be high on some applications and may be low on some applications. 15 redoes the whole bed from if it's been crapped up. But, you know, what I've seen is 6 to 8 is the norm.
Oh, okay.
So on an HE, and he's right, that's where it changes. He actually had that chart on there. So when you do a recharge, if it was an upflow, you can almost use 2 to 6. I mean, when I got my upflow, mine's, and the nice thing about that for a tech, Tech doesn't need to even do that, the HE does the equation for
For the household, yes.
the household, yeah, so you know how many pounds per regen.
Is there a place where you can find the equation, to plug in, like a
It is in the
breakdown?
manual, in the IOM manual.
I don't.
Yeah, the instruction manual.
It's probably worth right now.
But again, hold on, but just so you know, Kevin and everybody else here, that is not what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, the sales, you don't really need to get into
Don't even go even close to that.
weeds.
You're going, unless you're a service line salesperson, and that's not who's in this room. Unless you're installing too, then okay, then maybe you can get with Barry later on.
Quick takeaway, downflow is 10 pounds and upflow is 2. Would that be roughly accurate?
6 to 8.
6 to 8 down.
pounds.
Yeah,
That's what the chart
For-
yesterday
for-
showed, right? It showed 6 pounds.
6 pounds.
6 pounds was a standard kind of thing for a downflow, and then 2 pounds for an upflow.
Got it. Thank you.
And by the way, one of the things, again, I encourage you, that's why we have dealerships, right? Or especially if you're on a service call, man, learn that display. There's so much history and information that you can learn from. So if I'm going on a service call on an HE, have your tech show you, I wanna look at the history. I wanna know how many regens they had. I wanna know how much salt they're currently using to rebed. It's all on the data. It's all on the valve. It'll show you what that is. The whole purpose of this demonstration is just to simply illustrate that sizing is important, okay? Always know how many people you got in that house to determine, do they need a cube or cube and a half or 2 cubes? Because the whole ideal of a softener is that you want it to run or regen as little as possible. That's gonna extend the life of that softener. So for me, my view of a regen sizing is when it can regen 7 days or more. If I got a piece, and sometimes there's certain situations you can't do it, especially problem water. Certain problem waters, regardless of what it is, we do 3 days. Okay, that's in the manual, regardless of what it is. If it's problem water, we put that baby on a time clock, and it's regen in 3 days regardless.
That's like everybody else at the time.
It's just like everything else, well, but for good reason, it's problem water.
Yeah.
We wanna clean that bed as often as we possibly can. We can't help your waters that way, but we can sure enough take care of it.
Where this is, what Vic is talking about right here, if you have that one elderly lady in the house that bathes once a week, and she's not using 10 gallons of water a day.
ONG on
Okay, we may wanna say,
RO.
we're still gonna put 6 pounds of salt a day on downflow, but for her sake, we're gonna regen that every
Actually,
week, once,
the,
7 to 10 days.
Table of
We're gonna regen that whether she uses the water or not.
You'll see what I'm talking about, it's on page
To
3.
keep our salt from bridging in the, we want it to be able to use the, if that salt sits in that salt tank for a month, you're gonna have a bridge of some sort, it's gonna start salt solidifying at the top. Right, so we wanna make sure that we're keeping her taken care of. So you just set it for 7-10 on a backup, so if it never gets to that regen at that backup, it's going to run.
Yeah.
Is 7 days the best practice, or could
We use
somebody
7 to
push
10,
10?
7 to 15,
Yeah.
it depends on the customer, right?
Yeah.
But we wanna make sure that we're taking care of that elderly person especially. That we taking care of that person, and we're not gonna let their unit go to hell because we don't care.
Okay, all right. If you need more about sizing, get with your manager, get with me.
Or your
We'll
tech,
talk to you about-
talk
or
to your tech.
I like that.
Your tech will help you
Combination.
get that set for you, that's where that communication works out really well, right?
Merry Christmas.
Or call, you can call myself or Canute or Vic, or anybody, we have RTAs, 8 of us. Anybody else? It's found on Seaport in the right-hand
Okay,
corner, contact.
guys, here's something important we're gonna talk about, and that'll kinda end my segment, and we'll open it up before we close to some Q&A, okay? It is important. Okay, I'm gonna say it again, listen. Has anybody bought a car? Anybody bought a car and your dealership didn't tell you the importance of maintaining that car. You never knew, you never had an oil change before. And they let you drive out of that car and you ride it and you ride it and you ride it. Next thing you know, it doesn't move anymore. Why? It's because no one taught you or told you about the importance of maintaining the equipment. All of our equipment moves. There's moving parts, they do wear. In every single manual, you will see care and maintenance. I want you guys to make sure you have this in your tablet, or just like that water quality thing. First of all, what you'll see here, it says care and cleaning. And you can click on 17, it'll pop right up once you put your mouse on there. Now, the cool thing about this is when I'm talking to a customer, I've had some customers who've never bought equipment before says, so now that I bought it, what do I do? They say that. They've never had water treatment again. They're excited that they're buying it from you. A common question that your customer is gonna say, so what do I have to do to take care of it? That's a great question. This is why we sell privilege programs. Get yourself out of the equation. You don't sell anything, you disclose. Okay? This is not you selling, this is their manual. Mr. Customer, to care and take care of your system requires you to replace your membrane or your sediment and carbon filter either every year or every 2 years. Depending on your dealership, they may either have a 2-year cartridge or a 1-year cartridge. You have to disclose this to your customer. You owe them the fact that they need, if they want their unit to run at its fullest capacity, it must be maintained. Well, what if I don't maintain it? It'll still work. For how long? For how long? And how long will it work at its fullest optimum, pace?
This is your oil change.
This is your oil change. Okay? But instead of if you did not have this, and I'm pitching to tell them, hey, by the way, we do maintenance program, blah, 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 blah. So, do you want it? No. Because you're selling it to me. Why do I have to have it? Well, it says you prove it. Well, now I can't. Here it is. This is in your manual. Folks, Culligan is saying maintain your equipment. Okay? Now, Mr. Customer, the next common question would be, well, how much is that going to cost to maintain it? That's a great question. Just like every service company, they have what is called a trip charge. It can average anywhere from $165 to $250 just to get to your house. Plus you got parts. So here at Culligan, it might cost, if you call in, it might be, what's that number?
500.
For someone that just called in, anybody else?
6,800.
Wait, just a trip charge or?
No, how much does it
A
cost?
truck roll is 180.
Yeah.
Truck roll is 180, so if I needed to change just the sediment filter and do it on top of that, what is our cost?
So you're gonna be both filters if you're gonna do it, or the membrane when it comes to at that period, it's got 3 to 5 years.
Basically, the whole premise of this, because this is why we sell privilege programs, is my goal for you, Ryan, is to explain to you, do you wanna pay the $350 when you call them? Or do you wanna have that split up and maybe save you a little bit of money? So, I can get this for you now for just a little bit of $24.95. I'm not trying to make any money off of you, okay, Carlos? All I'm trying to tell you is that you do need to change your filters. So instead of paying a big lump sum, would it make sense for you to just break that up monthly? Yes, you can, right?
Yeah.
And basically all it does, and I got some good news for you, you have to maintain it. So the cost to maintain this is going to be in our privilege program. But I told you about our warranty. The 1 year you have is with labor and parts. But if you elect to participate in our privilege program, I'm also going to include the warranty of this product. So if anything goes wrong with this that needs to be fixed, if it cracks, if it leaks, I can have a service tech, you can call them, your privilege program is included in that service. So the cost of the maintenance, okay, you have to do this,
No matter
but
what.
what I'm going to include is practically a full warranty. So when it breaks, if I can't fix it, right, we're obligated to replace it. Is that fair?
Yeah,
Would you like to be a part of that program?
yes, I would.
All right, let me sign you up.
Cause you gotta maintenance no matter what.
You got, it's not because I told you you need it.
Because it says on there on the
This,
manufacturer.
listen, what I try to tell you guys, why would you on earth make your job hard? Why do you gotta do that? The company, Nisha, is telling you, you gotta sell the privilege program. That's part of the company. We gotta do it. Well, if I gotta do it, how can I make it easy for me to do it? Let the book speak for itself.
Clear and clean.
So the big difference between that 1 year and 2 year filters is just double the medians of it.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're extending the same thing, right?
The downflow carbons need to be cleaned out too.
Just say
Yeah,
again?
it needs to
The
be flushed.
downflow, and we have to flush them.
Yep.
That's like what,
Every
5
month,
years though?
3 to 5
3 to
years
5
is
years
resin.
needs to be
3 to
flushed.
5. 3 to 5 is normal.
Talk to your service manager, you might be able to get a better deal.
It's only been like a year. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
$24.95 you said that was a monthly?
I don't know what the privilege program.
Yes, it should be on your price sheet. One thing that one of my sales people do is she bumps up her price, includes takes that whole year,
Takes that first
puts
year.
it in there, and says, you know what we're gonna do? Show them this. There's some maintenance stuff. I'm just gonna throw that in for the first year. We're gonna cover everything for you, and then after that you can pay for it. It's already in there, and they go, I don't really want it. Then you drop it down, and you're just at list price. That make sense?
Yeah.
So you know, so privilege program is $239. You add $239 to whatever you're, for softener, I think. Add that to the price and say, for the first year we're going to take care of salt for you. Anything happens, we'll take care of it, and then after that, if you like this privilege program, then we'll move forward. But that's included in this price. And we learned this from when my kid bought his new car. He goes, Dad, I got free oil changes. I'm like, no, you didn't. You paid for it.
You paid for it.
But he was excited about it.
But.
So on the HE, the smart HE, as you're selling the smart HE and the smart RO, there's a service date in there for the service tech will record the date of service. It comes up in your company's gateway. It says, hey, service is coming due in 2 months, and it gives them a chance to schedule that out for that customer automatically.
Softeners are $300 or $27.95 a month.
335 or something.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of different stuff if you have combo filters and everything else, but it should be on your price sheet.
So the last thing I always talk about, because that's been the biggest challenge. That's been the biggest challenge for a lot of sales reps is, why on earth am I selling a maintenance program on a softener? What does that include? Softeners don't break down. And I always ask them, so what you're telling me is that there's no care or maintenance on that manual on softeners? Oh, no. Oh, so you don't know.
In that case, we'd only have installers and no service techs.
Say it again.
Careful.
So if he was to pull up, he doesn't have to, but on the softener, the HE softener, it's the same thing. It'll tell you that it does require an annual maintenance. What do they do with it? They clear the nozzle, the inductor, they come on out, pull the salt, maybe look and see if your service pack needs to be replaced. So there is value to applying a privilege program on a softener as well.
And they check your current settings at that time, also every year. They check the current settings, make sure that there's nothing in your area that's changed. The whole thing, they go through it, it's a check, just like Vic was talking about earlier. The service tech's gonna go in there and check, make sure everything's going good and working fine. He pulls up his Service Pro, he looks at all the settings to make sure everything's moving. Away he goes.
So there's a reason, the second to last page, it's got records and data, right? So they can keep track of everything. And consistency wise, on the last page of every manual is their warranty information.
Absolutely.
So the customer wants to know
In
what
the-
it is.
In the owner's guide, not
Not the,
It's not owner's guide.
owner's guide. By the way, and again, this is your business. This is your business, okay? If you haven't read the owner's manual, and I'm not saying from A to Z, but what I am telling you is read those first 5 pages. One that says, oh, by the way, this is how a softener works. I'm gonna tell you something, and I mean this. Culligan does the best, like a damn 3-year-old can know how a softener works if they read these manuals. I mean, it's really, really good reading. And if you haven't read it, you owe it to yourself to take a few minutes of your time, since this is what you do every day, okay, to understand what's on those manuals, okay? Again, I hope if you did nothing today for me is to recognize we don't sell. If you didn't get anything from me, was I selling? But no, of course, I'm making money. But all I'm doing is consulting, man. All I'm doing is guiding customers through the right channels for them to make an educated decision to do business with me. That includes selling the product, to service, to selling our privilege program. I'm not telling you to do it because I want to make more money. I'm selling it because it says in the book, you need to maintain your equipment. It's not me, and I owe that much to you to tell you that. My last thing, and then I'm opening it up for questions, because Kevin was talking about, again, between brine restricted areas, the difference between PEs and no salt. PEs, just so that you know, if you don't know, PE is a softener. The difference is that a PE just has the actual resin in the tank. A softener has the ability to have the salt next to it to clean it. Brine restriction means that the actual township or city says you cannot dump sodium chloride in their drain. So therefore you cannot use a typical water softener. But they will allow a dealership to actually recharge that resin at their dealership. So that's why I can use a portable exchange unit, which is still a softener. The difference is when that's exhausted, somebody comes in, trade it out for a fresh batch, and then we clean it at the plant. Does everybody understand how that works? No salt is not a softener. It is a conditioner. It does not remove calcium and magnesium. It treats calcium and magnesium. Let me say that again. A softener removes calcium, or really it changes, but I like saying remove it. A softener removes calcium and magnesium. No salt treats the calcium magnesium. That's the difference between the two.
I'm just asking, but like if someone wanted a softener and they were in a brine restricted area, does Culligan offer like potassium instead?
Nope.
No? Doesn't work that way either?
Because it's the chloride.
It's not the salt, it's not
Still
the,
draining.
Still gonna be brine.
it's not the sodium, and it's not the potassium, it's the
It's the
chloride.
chloride.
I thought it was
problem.
something in the
It's
salt.
sodium chloride, potassium chloride.
I see, okay.
It's the chlorides. It just does something.
How do you find out about the brine, what area is?
They'll tell you.
Oh, yeah.
You'll know.
You will know.
I don't think we have any in our.
We have a lot of brine.
There's a lot of places that don't.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Like I
of
think our
places
whole
that
territory is.
And a lot of municipalities touted as being environmentally sensitive.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. It's really because their infrastructure can't handle it, right? Because if it was truly environmentally a reason, they wouldn't allow PE tanks or anything.
Mhm.
It has nothing to do with environment. It has to do with the way they treat their water.
That's because the
It's harder for
dealerships
them to
have the
clean it.
infrastructure to help kind of
It's making it
compensate
harder
that.
for them to clean it up.
Yeah, exactly. So they have to pay more money to treat their water, so they don't want to do
They
it.
don't
So
want the junk
they're
to
fine
stay
with it
put in
taking,
the-
going from, Fillmore, taking it to Oxnard to do it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Let Oxnard be able to.
We gotta send it out, that's what we do. The truck comes and picks up all the junk from here and takes it somewhere else. I see the trucks.
Okay, guys, we're wrapping this up. I'm gonna give everybody their certificate shortly. We'll take a quick picture as we give it to them. This is the time for just kind of a reflection. It is literally 10 after 1, so we're way ahead of time, and I'm hoping everybody wants to leave out of here a little early. I'm gonna be honest with you. The one thing that is missing, in my opinion, is, like I said, I'm big on role play. I am big on role play. So for that, I am asking you, all right, role play with somebody. Role play with somebody.
Take your CSR, all your new CSRs, all of
I
them,
did
even
on
your
my
old
family,
CSRs,
my kids,
all of
my
them.
wife, I did on everybody.
Everybody in the office.
Everybody.
I did on everybody.
They will,
Married kids.
they are willing to help you, but you got to put it in play. And you do it as many times as it takes until you say, damn, I'm good at it. I'm good at it. Until the time when you can say that I don't need this, I use it as a tool, but I can talk to it. Because I practice it, you've arrived. Practice is the essential way you're going to be successful in this industry. Okay? So that's the one thing I would say I wish I could do more of here. As I move forward in training, I think that's gonna be something why I need to either do a 4 or even a 5-day training.
That's what we're requesting.
Because that's my passion. My passion is to get you guys adopting a, number one, understanding why pros are pros, because they practice. And if you wanna be a pro, you must do this. You can be an amateur and be below level, but why would you do such a thing?
It's your money.
It's your money. Well said, Roger. It's your
What we
money.
went over today is pretty much the top thing to pretty much get good at.
Yeah,
Regarding the testing, water and so forth.
absolutely. Well, it's learning all 7 steps, right? So part of the role play would have been, getting you guys comfortable with asking questions, right? So the way you gotta be good at having your customer talk to you. Because again, that's where you find hot buttons. That's how you create urgency. When you do the discovery part, then you validate with them the water test. That's the excitement part for your customer, because now they self-discovered the urgency of getting this done. And that's when you do that part right, you'll find them say, I'm telling you, this is what they're gonna say. I'm all in. How much is this? What kind of product you got for me? Because you had the patience enough to not sell them anything. Now they have made the choice themselves to move forward with you. That's why they're asking, what do you got for me? Everything you just told me is bang on, I get it now. What is it? What do I gotta do to fix this? Ding, 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 ding. You did it right, okay? And now, if you do that part right, now I have the ability to say not only that, I got a unit that is the world's most efficient, okay, system, and it's culligan. We are a 87-year-old company. We're over 600 dealerships around the world. I mean, in this country, 90 countries worldwide. We are the largest water treatment company in the world. And all that means to you, Gilbert, is we're gonna take care of it. When something goes wrong with your parts, you need service, you will never have to worry about yourself being taken care of.
Another question, in regards, let's say after you do all your testing, and you find out you got hard water and your TSDs are through the roof and everything, you basically have the worst water. Why isn't there something that shows the customer, look, this is the levels that you're at, this is what could happen to you regarding health or skin or hair? Why isn't there anything that we can show them that could?
You can, that's why, again, Halls, which I applaud Halls, is that technically, if you find you go into an appointment on a private well, you ain't selling that day, because you gotta send that well in. That well report is everything you just said. So when I get the well report, everything you just said is right there in front of them. So that question is answered.
Okay.
That's why, honestly, I love Halls doing that, because there's other dealers that do not send it in the lab, and they're on private wells, and they wonder why their softener fouled. It's because there was other stuff that just killed that softener, and we never tested for it.
Yep.
Halls at least have the ability to say, if you're on a private well, hey, good news, Kevin. Thank you for spending a little time with me, and we just found out together you're on a private well. So this is going to require a second visit. Okay, it's important. Unless, do you happen to have your well analysis, and is it 2 years or newer?
I do not.
Okay.
Didn't even know I needed
let me explain something to you real quick. On the private well, there's nothing that's regulating what kind of water is in your water. It is great peace of mind of just knowing what's in your water for you and for this company to know that we're putting in the right piece of equipment. The investment you're about to take is going to be significant enough. It's gonna be $350. But you're gonna get a full well analysis to know everything that's in your water, and I'll be able to come back and discuss the things. If there's anything that we need to do to treat, we'll be able to discuss those items. And the good news for you is, now you have that true peace of mind of knowing exactly what's in your water, okay? It's gonna take me a few days. I'm gonna grab a couple of samples if that's something you would wanna do,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay? It's just that simple, all right? All right, so that's how you make that happen on private wells. Then you get the sample and you're able to say, Mr. Customer, this is what we found. This is what it's gonna be, and now I've got that good. So now that person just spent $350 on you to get a well analysis. So everything is good on that, okay?
And that's always the price all across the board for that well
$290.
analysis?
$290 is for
How long does it
bottom one.
take usually the results?
Usually about a week and a half or so. And as a favor to your sales manager and your GM, figure out a way for payment ahead of time, whether it's credit card or a check. Just have that there, and if you want to wrap that into the sale later as a carrot, so you know what, if you end up going with us, we'll figure out a way to pay for that test for you. But your GMs are going to want to know how that's getting paid for.
Last question, how, is there certain areas that have more private wells? Is it very popular? Is it?
When you have a lot more agriculture and a lot more, just open spaces, and you're not going to find wells in the middle of here. Unincorporated areas are going to have a lot of wells. City, you're not going to find anything within the city limits.
Okay.
But unincorporated spots are going to have a ton.
Also on those lab tests, I remember seeing something about it. You want to make sure that you send it out like same day, right away type.
Yeah, don't send them on Thursdays and Fridays. You want to do well tests Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just because there's certain things that they test for that have to get there overnight. If your dealership's not set up with overnight packages and bottles and shipping labels, you need to ask them to do that. They just order it on Seaport and have it ready for you.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say about wells, okay, be mindful. In California, it's more fluent, so that's why we send them in. You can still do your regular field test on a private well, meaning that, okay, I want to know the hardness. If the iron, because there are a lot of clean wells. I was in Napa, for example. Napa, they're on a private well. If you had seen my face then, it would blow your mind. I'm going into this man's house. I test his water. His water hardness was 1. Okay, hold on. Then I'm ready to test his TDS, 18.
Jeez.
That's better than mine. Mine's a 5 rings at my house and 65.
1
Where do you live at again,
and 18 in Napa. I don't know.
That's what private.
Yeah.
Mars.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, mine's-
Mars.
1 and 18. And I looked at this dude and I straight up looked at him and says, do you mind if I taste this water?
Was it coming out of like stone? It was just.
Well, he was on the mountain, so he's just literally getting, his money, his water, I guarantee you, is more surface water. Because somehow wherever that water was coming in from, it wasn't through the
Did he
ground.
buy anything?
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
But let me finish the story because I want to get you guys out of here. Next door, a couple weeks later, I got the same appointment. Now, as you all should know, and if you don't know, even though you can go to the same area, they could be on different aquifers. Okay, I lit aquifers, so an aquifer means that here's your groundwater, there's your well, and there's your source water. That water we call an aquifer on private wells. You have shallow wells, you have deep wells, is wherever they can actually access that water. You could literally be across the street in the same neighborhood and Barry's water is different from my water and I'm right across the street. In some cases, I'm right next door. It just depends, okay? So I get to this appointment, same thing. This guy comes out, He doesn't know, moved into his house, and I know his neighbor, I just went there, had a good glass of water. And the person, again, same damn results. However, because you asked me, did I sell something? This lady straight up, and all I did, again, I hope you guys believe me, I don't sell.
Disclose.
I just disclose, I promise you, I do not sell at appointments. I do not sell at appointments. I just absolutely educate. All I said, but like I said on every private well, the best thing you can do for protection is get a UV. So you just never know when you need it. And that lady said, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. I am gonna get a UV from you though. And she gave me $100 cash.
Nice.
And after I was honest with her and I said, I'm gonna tell you right now, I was just at your neighbors, man, y'all got some of the best water on the planet. I mean, on the planet. I've never been to a 1 and an 18 on a TDS.
That's ridiculous.
On raw water.
That's crazy on raw water.
Okay. Anybody else got any?
The UV that she bought was exactly what?
Oh, UV is an ultraviolet, so any bacteria.
Any bacteria will kill it.
Might be in the well, it'll kill it.
Right, but what does it do? Does it go in the well?
No, it's just a light, and the water passes
water
through a
goes
light and
through
kills
the
it.
bulb.
Got it, so it's under the, where is it connected?
To the cold water,
Is it point of use or is it,
point of entry.
oh,
What did I do?
You have recurring income on that because of the bulb.
Right.
okay.
We're gonna change the bulb to your,
And the bulb could be on, the bulb could be on, it doesn't mean that the UV is working.
In a sense, in
Ah,
this case.
So here's the bulb. Your bulb is here. The water is flowing outside of the bulbs. Ultraviolet light is like the purple light, right? When that light is on, it's killing all of any potential clots that's going through there. So as that water is flowing into the house, it's always clean water. Did you hear me say clean, not purified?
Yeah.
Clean.
So, just on wells, I'm probably not gonna need this information, but just so I can be clear, so if two homes are on different aquifers, you're thinking that the well water could come from different sources?
Yeah,
in that same
absolutely.
area?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
And even in the same way with municipal water, it just depends on what their pipes are like, what their transmission underneath is. They could have a leak in their pipe and stuff's going in. It's always, that's the way we always test.
and municipal water also comes from different wells and
Exactly.
sources.
Okay.
So it could be 2 blocks down, it comes from
Totally
one on
different
the east
well.
side, and then 2 blocks over, it comes from the west side.
So a great sample of that, when we're talking about wells, is, especially on municipal water, that's why I said, I hope you guys are pulling your well reports, your water reports, and wondering and looking for where the source is. Because, especially in California, we have droughts. So there could be 1 or 2 wells, they'll shut down, there's not enough water. So now they gotta pull that water from the other wells.
From the state.
Or from the state, or they buy water and they mix it. Okay, that's why it's important for you guys to understand, when I tell you there's a range, there's a range. Cause you never know, especially on city water, when we have to make those changes. Does that make sense?
And that's pressures also.
Now, I have one last question on that.
Yep.
So I know, like, $290 for them to get the water report.
Yeah.
In a sense. Is there any other testing that we do when we go to a, you know?
Not after that, if you're gonna get a full well analysis, that's it, that's all you need.
So there's a price sheet that you get on problem water. It'll give you a list of everything it's gonna test, and if there's certain things that they want, like I don't know,
And sulfur.
carcinogens or something like it, it's like an a la carte menu, right? So if you someone, I think I've got radiation because I'm in Santa Paula or whatever because of this factory. We can do that type of a test, and there's certain bottles and good. But it's just a big menu.
Believe me, they talk to their neighbors, and their neighbors tell them what they're experiencing with their water.
But outside of the well water, do you mean test in general? Because we do have the PFAS test for people that request that.
Well, yeah, I was just seeing if there was any other
Yeah, so
procedures on
the
our
other
part.
test that I know about is the PFAS test.
So in a sense, do a PFAS test while I'm there.
Yeah,
That
well,
little box
PFAS test is $150.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
No,
it's
something they have to send out
still
with
the
well
cheapest.
Oh, I see.
PFAS test is still the cheapest out of all of them. It's
And
somewhere.
I was gonna say, that's what that little box is, right?
Yeah, super easy to do. You send it out, and send a report back.
And it
Have you
requires that bottle or that container specifically,
Yeah,
right?
you
'Cause
don't.
it goes through like
We don't test it any other way other than
Yeah.
that.
That's our culligan stuff.
So this is ours. Comes with a card,
How to do it.
how to do it.
I figured it out. It's
It
not
doesn't
hard.
need to be overnighted with a lot of other PFAS companies. They need to be overnighted, in most cases is in ice. We don't have to do any of that. It comes with its own label, so they don't have to call you to mail it back in. They just seal it, boom, take it to the drop off, and it'll get there overnight. And then lastly, it's real easy. All I gotta do is just fill the cup, put it over this, let it drip. When this is all empty, all of it is in this cap,
Oh my God.
okay? So that's what they're trying to bring back to the lab, all right?
What's that?
To get-
Yeah, just that little.
That's it.
Liquid
That's
in
it.
That little
No
puck.
liquid.
No
They're gonna
liquid.
rehydrate it when it gets
And
there.
you said if a customer wants a PFAS test, 190.
That's 150.
Oh, 150,
150.
okay.
And,
Unless you're
and
marketing it.
another point that Tim made was that ours is cheaper than all of our competitors, because PFAS is getting so well known and, popular right now in the worst way possible, that a lot of companies are offering PFAS tests, but ours is still the cheapest.
Sure
Can I
is.
recommend something though? Don't let that be the hangout, because that's gonna take a week, right? You can just tell them, say, you know what? I've got a TDS filter that is gonna not only take care of the PFAS,
Right.
whether you have it or not,
Yeah.
it's gonna take care of this, this, and this. Because what might happen is, if they're just concerned about PFAS, they get the test back, it's gonna go to them, not to you. Then you go, oh, I don't have PFAS, I don't have to worry about it, we're good. Or it's just pushing it off one more week.
Sure.
Yeah,
You
I would
really
use
get-
that if people ask.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
saying.
if they ask.
If they
If that's the reason you're there, you can do that.
What
That
I've
was-
seen in all the area that I have, and I can't talk for California, can do that, is on the news. I've seen
Yeah,
all
it's
of a
everywhere.
sudden, like Spokane, Washington, they came out and said Spokane Heights is got a high PFAS rating, and everybody's gonna have to, it came out and said that
Yeah.
on their news, so then they
Yeah.
got berated by calls.
Yeah, and
People
if
are
you
talking
wanna
about
push, like Tim is saying, we wanna push total defense, so the best thing is to probably just say, it is in a lot of the water in the country right now, it's best to be defended against it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, anybody else with any questions?
When you take your water with you, what if you don't have a culligan one? You take a, I'm not gonna arrowhead. Yeah, they're not gonna ask like, oh, is that special culligan water?
Well,
No,
you
you better say Culligan on there.
I know. Well, I'm just
Purified water, whatever you do, make sure it's purified water, make sure it stays.
just do
on
the
there.
test.
Even purified water with enhanced minerals will work.
Are they really? I was looking for water, and I'm like, what the hell?
You should have like a little case of small
You gotta
water.
show me what those are. 'Cause I haven't
I'm
seen.
pretty sure we can all get the bottom one, right?
Yeah, absolutely for halls, absolutely.
What about the
What
stuff
they
for the
manage.
testers? All the stuff that's in there?
Everything's at your office, man.
Yeah.
Everything.
Talk to your sales manager.
Talk to your sales managers or your
We'll
TAs.
take a ride down to San Diego or whatever.
Make sure your
Man.
chemicals stay in date, those are big in your test kits, right? Make sure you're in date.
Don't run out of chemicals.
All right, guys, we're gonna give up the, certificates. And, I need someone to take pictures, Tim and Barry, we're gonna take a picture of you as you come on up here.
Graduation.
First person on the graduation. Nisha, go ahead and.
Rick's not here.
It's
Ricky, he's not here.
just real.
When I
Rick
graduated
is not
college, you
here.
never even heard that song.
Rick's not here and he gets a certificate.
He's on my team.
Of the three and, all three, four people. So Ron,
Wrong.
Ron Sanchez.
He made it. Calling me, man. I made it. Woo! Graduated. Can I get my valedictorian hat?
Alright, got it.
No.
The next
Take us
person,
off, but we passed now.
Kevin Finley.
I love you all.
No, better not be.
Big victory?
Not that. Appreciate it.
Awesome. 1, 2, and 3. Great.
Alright, I felt so official, I might have to frame
It's
this.
for real.
Chase
Oh,
Showman, come on down.
Chase.
Gentlemen, it's been great. Enjoyed all my time here.
Alright,
Very much.
yes, sir.
Awesome. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Amazing. You guys look great.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, not the graduation music.
Gilbert Terrazon.
You just heard that?
Who's playing that?
I think it's Tim.
Thank you. Thank you.
He thought that was me.
1, 2, 3. All right.
Alright, thanks Gilbert.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Sam Kim.
There he is.
All right. Yes, yes.
Here you go, sir.
Hug it out.
1, 2, and 3. Good, good.
Alright, appreciate you. Joseph Ramos.
There he is.
Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Nice. Barry, look a little more enthusiastic. There you go. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, gentlemen.
I want to
Oh, man, yeah, hey.
Anthony Basquez.
Yeah, that's
Proud of me.
That's the right state.
Thank you very much, guys. It's all a blessing. Appreciate it a lot.
Right, my brother.
Yeah, you're good.
all right. 1, 2, 3. And let's get his one more, guys.
Oh, shit balls.
1, 2, and 3.
Hey, they're gonna be proud of me.
By the way, when I get these, I will email you the photos.
Thank you. I know I was cheesing out there.
Carlos Llamas.
Yo.
There he is.
Oh man.
Right.
And the Oscar goes to.
Lorenzo Lamas.
Fabulous man. Fabulous man.
Awesome. 1,
He did it! He did it!
and 3. And now look at that one.
Even
I got it. Thanks, guys.
his first one. That's yours.
Yeah.
Good man.
How many people give you a certificate within the first couple?
Kevin Brown.
Absolutely.
Kevin's also getting a Grammy for his performance. All right, gentlemen. 1, 2, and 3. Awesome.
And then last but not least,
Yeah.
last but not least, the one and only, Risha.
I'm gonna give that to somebody else.
Nisha Bennett, come on down.
We ain't getting our trophy next time.
Communicating with you at all? Yeah, we got that. Got no text.
Sure, you guys smile. Okay,
I haven't got text.